Why do people always gotta blame gamers for everything? Something happens, it's always gaming does this, gaming causes violence, gaming does that. Well, this time, Kotaku wrote an article blaming Gamergate for the Pelosi attack that just happened recently. This sounds like the biggest reach ever. But let's go ahead and dive into the video because I am very confused and curious to see how they are going to explain this. The headline here says, report, man behind Pelosi hammer attack was radicalized by Gamergate. And then here's the link to the article. I'm not even gonna lie, with this whole Pelosi attack thing, I never even read that much into it because with these kind of things, it's like, I don't even know if it's real or not because there's so many PR stunts that happen all the time when it comes to politics and stuff. And I also don't even follow politics that much. So, yeah, I'm confused right now. But let's go ahead and start reading this article and see what they gotta say. All right, so on October 28th, San Francisco police arrested a man for attacking Nancy Pelosi's husband with a hammer. Now, it's been reported that he may have been inspired by the far-right movement Gamergate. That's another thing is, like, I know a little bit about Gamergate, but I never dove super into it. I just know, like, Kotaku, the Gamer website, all these websites, they go like Gamergate lives in their head rent freaking free. So that's all I know about that. All right, David DePappy was looking for U.S. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi when he broke into her house over the weekend. He asked her husband, Paul Pelosi, where his wife was and then attacked him with a hammer. Paul Pelosi is currently hospitalized for a skull fracture and hand injuries, but he's expected to make a full recovery. Okay, well, maybe this wasn't a PR stunt. Yikes. I hope he gets better. All right, so let's continue. The attacker reportedly ran a now deleted Wix blog where he posted conspiracy theories about QAnon, I don't even know how they pronounce that. All these things, rings run by the Democratic Party. Okay, I've seen some of those conspiracies and Koof stuff. How did I get into all this? He allegedly wrote on August 23rd. Gamergate. It was Gamergate. Is this for real? Gamergate was a hate movement that started in 2014 but still exists in various forms today. Dude, I don't even, like I said, my knowledge of Gamergate was that it was just some big circle argument things happening because of this person slept with this person, and then there was beef, and then, I don't know, then they called the dude a misogynist or something. I don't know. It's just a giant mess. I've never really dived that much into it. Its proponents claimed to champion ethics in games journalism. Wasn't it something like game journalist girls were sleeping with certain game devs, and then they felt like that was that impinged on the ethics in journalism because there was obviously going to be some sort of bias there. Maybe that was it. All right. In practice, they harassed and threatened women who worked in games or wrote about them. That's the thing too. Did they really harass and threaten, or did they just disagree with them? Because that's another thing where it's just like women are above criticism often in this type of industry, unless you're a pick-me like me, as they say. So I don't know. Gamergate was not a legitimate criticism of journalistic objectivity, but a label that allowed small and sad individuals to weaponize their bigotry. Okay. Like, write your article. We didn't ask for your biasness to just really shine through here. All right, Gamergate didn't invent right-wing extremism, but it taught a segment of internet conservatives that they could shut down the growing influence of feminism if they used targeted violence against individuals. Again, I don't ever recall hearing anything about actual violence being encouraged by said group of people, but okay. Feminists such as Anita Sarkeesian, Felicia Day, and Brianna Wu have received death threats for criticizing the movement. Bro, I get death threats because I post pictures of bacon. Like, it happens. For nearly a decade, women face increasing scrutiny and harassment for daring to write about video games at all. And I don't know, speaking about that, is that they want to use this to try to demonize that movement even more. Dude, I'll post videos, I post TikToks, whatever, making jokes about they, them pronouns, and I get, that's gotten me a ton of death threats. So don't even act like that this violence is only from the right side, okay? Because you can't even make a joke without getting death threats from the other side, okay? Let's be real here. If you're reading this in 2022, then you probably know that these culture warriors lost the battle. Gaming communities are more conscious about gender equality than they were a decade ago. Actually, no, we had way better female characters a decade ago than we do now. The characters that we have now are basically stock NPCs that the female characters are not able to be creative with their designs. They're not able to be creative with their personalities. No, this ain't it, man. And the industry has improved on diversity over time. But people who were radicalized through the movement would go on to support other extremist causes. Like, let's hear it. Their tactics were so cohesive that Steve Bannon borrowed them for Donald Trump's 2016 presidential campaign. Gamergate personalities who were also a key in organizing the January 6, 2021 the modern day 9/11, remember? Okay. The attack on Nancy Pelosi's residence is not an anomaly, but part of a longer pattern of how Gamergaters use violence to intimidate those they disagree with politically. Our children, our grandchildren, and I are heartbroken and traumatized by the life-threatening attack on our pop. Nancy Pelosi wrote on her official website, "We are grateful for the quick response of law enforcement and emergency services and for the life-saving medical care he is receiving." I mean, obviously violence isn't the answer, and I don't condone violence regardless of which side is doing it, unless it's self-defense. So, I mean, this is kind of a no-brainer here. But, you know, somebody being violent here in this case from Gamergate or because he's a Republican or whatever, this one guy's actions don't reflect every community that he's a part of. I mean, didn't we just have recently this dude unalived an 18-year-old Republican kid? Like, the dude was like, you know, liberal extremists, misinformation, liberal extremists. So yeah, he just murdered an 18-year-old because that 18-year-old was a Republican. So this whole thing of, oh yeah, these far-right people, these right conservative people are all bigots and they're all violent and this and that. It's just not, just because you have the actions of one person here, it just doesn't add up. And like I said earlier, it's like, dude, now I get I'll get backlash for different things I post because, hey, it's the internet. Sometimes I'll make people on one side mad and sometimes it's the other. I can't post anything without making people mad. Like, I posted a tweet that just said bacon. That was it. Just said bacon. And somebody got mad over that because it got a lot of likes. And they're like, must be nice to be a girl and post bacon and get likes. And I can't get no likes on my tweets. But then yesterday was Halloween, and then I got some backlash because I celebrate Halloween, and how could you celebrate Halloween and you're a Christian? And then other times, but I mean, even then, I don't get no like aggressive death threats. It's usually well-intended people who I personally think probably are overstepping a little bit to tell other people what to celebrate and what not to, but I do think they were well-intentioned regardless. But either way, you got that versus like me making that joke about the they them pronouns from the House of the Dragon actress, and especially that video I made too, which really dived in a lot more, and then getting a lot of backlash for that. But the only difference here is it was that left side that was the one telling me to unalive myself and crap, sending me death threats and stuff. Like, they did not take kindly to that. They were finding me on every social media platform to send DM requests just to say the most nasty things. I mean, I don't freaking care because I really don't care what they think. But yeah, that happened. But anyway, yeah, this is just it. Gamers get blamed for stuff. Now it's to the point of, you know, people like Kotaku journalists, people who are more on like the super woke side. They just want to say everybody who doesn't agree exactly with them and has any sort of nuance is all alt-right extremists, QAnon, all these accusations, and it's just, it's a joke. So anyway, that's it for this video. You know, hopefully Nancy Pelosi's husband gets a full recovery, because we don't like to see that. Regardless of whether you like him or not, you still don't like to see people getting, you know, hurt in that kind of situation. And I bet that would have turned out a lot differently if they had guns in their house. But I digress. That's it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'll catch you next time. And in the meantime, go boom.